In this episode, we're going to hear about a JFK reference to this cemetery. A famous actor is buried at this cemetery. Could someone be buried in an automobile?
I heard you say you found the story all tucked away in the back of the room. Been lost for years, far away from the glory, in the midst of our day-to-day routine, in the corner of our minds. We're not in blue, we're not in mourning to erase the truth. It takes more than will. Among the things I like to do, craving is one for two, and the light of the day that passes on will somehow be gone.
Welcome to Stories Within the Stones, Episode 2. I am at the Green Hill Cemetery in Waynesville, North Carolina. Much to come, guys. Hope you subscribe for future videos, and let's take a look at this amazing cemetery. Amazing because of these views. Have no words on this view. Just want to say, guys, that it completely almost wraps around. So we're going to start here all the way around. We are still seeing mountains, and not that you can see it because of the trees, but we still have mountains here, and we're coming all the way around, and I see a top of a mountain there. My sister is actually here with me today, so you may be hearing her voice off and on. She is camera shy, so you will not be seeing her. I am in love with the fact that they put wooden crosses here. Actually, she doesn't even have a headstone, just him. World War II veteran, Air Force. So being on this hill, you can see that some of the ground is given way. They've had to put up poles right there, and even here the ground has sunk some. We're gonna start right here at this wonderful piece of like funeral art. So Love, Colonel Robert Love, he is the founder of Waynesville, so that is why he's kind of buried right up at the top of this hill. So he died in 1842. There's a story here, a supposed story. Although, first of all, oh my gosh, let's get to I love this, the little graphics here, the engraving. Now, remember way back then, a lot of times they would tell you how old exactly they were. I mean, he was 74 years old, 6 months and 4 days old. Now, back here is where their actual he is actually buried right here. And then Mary Ann was his wife. But rumor has it she's not here, even though it says she's here. Somebody's actually done a divining rod and said there's no body in this grave. And the story is that she actually died in Tennessee visiting family. And the family member did not want the siblings to bring her back to North Carolina. So he actually buried her in an unmarked grave in Tennessee. So she's actually not here. That is the story. Who knows if it's true? So Revolutionary soldier, Colonel Robert Love, 1760, placed by the Hugh Rogers chapter in 2002. Here we go. All right, I have some other stories to tell you guys. I'm very happy to see a Woodman of the World memorial. I've never seen one in person, but I know there's plenty out there. So Woodman of the World fraternal organization started in 1882. Oh, this one you can like really see the ivy, the lily. Wow, just the whole logs. Yeah, look at the side. Can y'all, yeah, y'all can see that. So you can see the actual look of the logs. So happy to see one of these in person. Waiting the resurrection, they actually had to split that word up. But notice how even after all these years, the border here is still intact. This is starting to fade up here. I believe you pronounce this Sensabog. Found a Freemason. J.M. Tate died in 1907. This little guy was almost 6. He's holding a dog underneath the tree. So I'm questioning, did somebody do some type of test here? These are completely circular holes. The ground feels extremely soft right here. Here's another one. So sometimes there's tragedies out there, and of course there's lots of tragedies out there with famous people. So right now I'm in front of a grave that he was a famous actor. He won an Academy Award. He was married to Elizabeth Montgomery. My sister's sitting there grinning because she knows who that is. The star of Bewitched. Unfortunately, this gentleman had a drinking problem, a very bad drinking problem. And he ended up getting, nobody would hire him. So later, he remarried. And they had only been married for 3 weeks. He shot her and then shot himself. His Academy Award statue was found by their bodies. Like, that is just so sad and tragic. Now, interesting about this is his gravestone. We're gonna see his real name, but that is not the name you guys know him by. He was known by Gig Young. He took that name after he played a character called Gig Young in a movie and decided he really liked that name. He needed a new name because there was already an actor by the name of Byron Barr. So he took up that name. So here's another interesting thing. I know a lot of you guys will go on Find a Grave. And on Find a Grave, he is listed under Gig Young. But you're not going to find Gig Young here. You're going to find his regular name. So that kind of will probably throw off a lot of people if you're actually looking for him. His death happened in 1978. It actually happened in New York. They lived in New York at the time. He had, in 76, he was actually hired to play the voice of Charlie Townsend in Charlie's Angels. But he ended up being fired because he was drunk. He'd also been cast to play the Waco Kid, but at that time he was going through alcohol withdrawal and he had to be replaced. So he is here with some other family members. Huh. Yeah, it's such a sad story. Like, yeah, I mean, like my sister said, sadly that happens to, a lot of celebrities. I have to look it up, but this is possibly his sister. She lived to be over 100 years old. Wow. She died in just 2015. Wow. I'm also, This might just be her memorial because there's not enough room for her to actually be buried here. Yeah, that could just be, I'll have to look that up because there's definitely not enough room. So I like it when they actually tell a little bit about the person. So he was a sergeant and he was lost while a prisoner of the Japanese, March 5th, 1944. Oh, so wow, this was just a regular stone, field stone, and they just put a little thing on it. So Kevin Balick, born and died February 25th, 1960. Well, the grass is not growing right here. That's a little... Thank you, Heather, for the sound effects.
Oh gosh.
Love the church scene. And this just kind of gives us chills. It's just...
I really do.
So sad. I mean, no date or anything. So I'm going to guess, you know, either stillborn or, you know, maybe the day they were born. When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. All this just like takes my breath away. The footprints in the sand. And then his hands saying, "Come to me," basically. It was then that I carried you. So let's see who this is for. Pardon. Oh, the windy tree without you. And what is this? Somebody's put a little plaque. What does this mean? Huh. Oh, evidently somebody did a boo-boo, and must be in this cemetery. It has to be permanently affixed, so they're giving them time to get it out of the ground. So in the newer section, we're seeing a lot of these etchings in the tombstones. I really like the darker granite with the white painted in the letters. Oh, this reminds me of just vintage, like newspaper. Just something about this one's very vintage. I like it. I know I probably sound very excited a lot of times when I'm doing this, guys. And I am. And I don't want you to think, well, that's just, you shouldn't be excited or having fun in a cemetery or a graveyard. Oh, hi guys. I love it when they put faces, my bride and my groom. Well, let's honor the Smiths there. But I'm very at peace and I enjoy researching people's stories. I like looking at their gravestones to find out more about them, these strangers to me. I enjoy learning about people, and that's what I'm doing here. They've bought a bench so that they can sit here and reflect and remember their loved one. Oh, so these people over here brought their dog to exercise over there. This is just a really great cemetery. I'm sitting in front of William Greer's gravesite, and William Greer worked for the Secret Service, and he was actually the chauffeur driving JFK the day he was shot. There's been, I feel very bad for him because there's been a lot of controversy on, I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to say there's controversy, and of course that affected him his entire life. He was actually born in Ireland. He retired from the Secret Service in '66 because supposedly of a stomach ulcer. He moved here. He actually played golf at, it's been said, he actually played golf here at the country club. He ended up dying of cancer here in Waynesville. Well, this is sweet. If tears could build a stairway and memories a lane, I'd walk right up to heaven and bring you home again. So this is an interesting little plot for a family. So you see my sister's hand there. She's putting that piece back that fell off. So they never got a date here. So this person died, or was born in 1918. And you notice how both of these are facing that way, but then this one is facing this way. Interesting. 62, 68. So this angel is missing her arm. Well, her hand. Well, both her hands are missing. No, that one hand is of the basket, but she is missing that hand. If you loved me, you would rejoice because I go to my Father. All the stonework in this cemetery is just awesome.
The hidden